Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for April 9th. April 9th is the 99th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 100th in leap years, with 266 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is Orwellism. Orwellism. This is a noun that means something misleading, such as a word or phrase used euphemistically or ambiguously for propaganda purposes. The etymology of this word is after George Orwell, who lived from 1903 to 1950. His novel 1984 depicted a futuristic totalitarian state employing misleading language for propaganda and control. Earliest documented use of the word Orwellism is 1970, and let's remember that words are often in use before they're documented. Orwellism. You might notice that I'm in a car. The day got away from me. We had appointments to attend, and it's my turn to wait. And I said, I'll just wait in the car. I have busy work to do, and it happens to be this day in history, so there you go. This is a 2013 Honda Pilot. Very nice, big, easy, comfortable car. It'll hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we figured we could get 9 people in here, including the driver. I think we did. I think we figured that anyway. It can haul a lot of people or a lot of cargo. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my sources are included in the show notes. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Viva Fry records in his car all the time. I'm probably not going to do that. This is an exception today. But I found a suitable way to do it, so here we go. Remember that you can share this video with others with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. There's also a link in the show notes to my This Day in History playlist. I'll be sure and put a link to that up in the iCards. And with that, on April 9th, 1585, Sir Walter Raleigh departed England for Roanoke Island, now part of North Carolina, to establish the Roanoke Colony. This is the birthday of a man named John Davenport, born April 9th, 1597. He was an English Puritan minister and appears on our timeline today as co-founder of the New Haven Colony. The New Haven Colony was a small English colony that existed from 1637 to 1664 in what is now Connecticut, and that's only 27 years, which made me wonder, what happened to a colony that only lasted 27 years? Well, it is that Davenport had come to America with a patent for a colony in Massachusetts. And while he was over here, he found this area between Boston and New Amsterdam, now known as New York, Manhattan Island, that he thought would be an excellent location for trade, fur trade, farming, so on and so forth. So he and his classmate, a businessman named Theophilus Eaton, set about to create a settlement there. Unfortunately, they did not have a charter for this enterprise, which ultimately led to them being considered squatters. In addition, setting up the trade that they expected was more difficult than they anticipated. The land was not agreeable to farming, and they were kind of exclusive in terms of religion, which limited their options in terms of attracting skilled people to help them get this thing off the ground. Their political system, for example, was limited to church members only, and their refusal to widen eligibility alienated people who could have been helpful to them. I have a personal motto: don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. I guess they didn't know that. Anyway, Connecticut, on the other hand, did have a charter, and apparently were pretty territorial, and they applied military force to overtake the New Haven settlements. John Davenport lived to the age of 73. On April 9th, 1682, Robert Cavelier de la Salle discovered the mouth of the Mississippi River and claimed it for France and named it Louisiana. I think we had a story about him not too long ago where he was trying to find it again and overshot the mark, and that time it didn't go well. But this time he found the mouth of the Mississippi River, claimed it for France, and named it Louisiana. That's a pretty name, Louisiana. The American Revolutionary War ended on April 9, 1784, when the Treaty of Paris, already signed and ratified by the United States Congress earlier in the year, was ratified by King George III of England. On April 9, 1859, a 23-year-old Missouri youth named Samuel Langhorne Clemens received his steamboat pilot's license. He wrote about his adventures on the river using the nom de plume Mark Twain. Now, we've mentioned Billy the Kid before, and fairly recently, as I recall. On April 9, 1881, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to be executed by hanging. But before that could happen, he escaped jail. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about Billy the Kid not too long from now. Boy, howdy, if you touch that screen just wrong, it jumps everything around. This is the birthday of Carl Perkins, born April 9th, 1932. He was an American singer and songwriter, mostly recorded at the Sun Studio in Memphis, Tennessee. He was known as the King of Rockabilly. His music influenced the likes of Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Johnny Cash, Eric Clapton, and even Jimi Hendrix. Paul McCartney is said to have stated that if there had been no Carl Perkins, there would be no Beatles. Thank you, Carl Perkins. He released dozens of albums and has been inducted into several music halls of fame. Carl Perkins lived to the age of 65. The United States Atomic Energy Commission was formed on April 9, 1945. On April 9, 1959, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, introduced America's first astronauts to the press: Scott Carpenter, L. Gordon Cooper Jr., John H. Glenn Jr., Virgil Gus Grissom, Walter Schirra Jr., Alan Shepard Jr., and Donald Slayton. It's a lot of juniors there. The 7 men, all military test pilots, were carefully selected from a group of 32 candidates to take part in Project Mercury, America's first manned space program. NASA planned to begin manned spaceflight in 1961. The Pacific Electric Railway in Los Angeles, once the largest electric railway in the world, ended operations on April 9, 1961. Probably giving way to combustion engine vehicles. There's my sweetie. Okay, well, we're done for now. Anyway, last year's episode up in the corner, along with the playlist. And I hope you did learn something you didn't know before, because I know I sure did. I always do. Again, links to my sources are included in the show notes, and those links to the playlist and the episode from last year. Images are retrieved from Bing Images, either public domain or licensed free to use and share. I think the correct terminology is free to share and use. Our lovely outro music is Divine Life Society by Jesse Gallagher from YouTube Music Library, and there's a link to his channel in the show notes. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And remember that you can share this video with others with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. All right. Usually the camera's over here, and now it's over here. I keep seeing people come out of the office building here, and I think, oh my, that was a fast appointment, but not yet, because that was somebody else. Okay, do that again. We'll do that in a minute. That might not make it into the video. We'll see. Changing it up.